So hello, nice to see you, girls.
Hello.
Hi.
So today we will talk about Canada, and we have two YOURWAY students here who spent a semester and the school year and exchange year in Canada. I would like to ask you girls to shortly introduce yourself and tell me where you spent your experiences in Canada. Sheila?
Hi, I'm Sheila. I was an exchange student in Canada 2 years ago in 2018. I've been to Vancouver Island. It's on the west coast. It's an island, but it's a really big island, and that's where I spent a semester as a student.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And how about you, Tekla?
Hello everyone. My name is Tekla, and I was in Newfoundland, the most eastern part of Canada, last school year for an entire year. It is also an island, a bit bigger of an island, but it was still great.
Yeah, it's just on the other side
Yes.
of Canada, two different sides. Yeah, it's very interesting. So tell me something about why did you choose this country? Why did you choose Canada as a destination? Sheila, what was your reason to decide?
Well, the main reason was that I wanted to learn how to speak English very well, and I had to choose somewhere where they speak English, and I could choose either the US or Canada because also England, but England is just too close, so I wanted to go a bit further away, and I liked Canada more than the US because I find it better because it's safer and the people are nicer and it's colder and it's just very, very nice.
Okay. And Tekla, how about you?
I had a Canadian teacher before, and she told me a lot of great things about Canada, and I just wanted to see it for myself. Plus, I wanted to see some snow.
And did you see some snow?
I saw a lot of snow.
In Newfoundland? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that it sounds for some people a bit weird that you go to a completely different country, another culture, you don't speak the language, or even if you speak the language, it's different when you are there, and you don't know anyone, and just you arrive there, you go to your host family, and you go to a school where you don't know anyone. So how was it with you? I mean, was it difficult to adjust into this new environment? Sheila, how was it with you?
It wasn't very hard. I thought it would be harder because I didn't know anyone there. And here I have a lot of friends and family that I go to, and I know them, and we have programs together and school. And there I didn't know anybody. But it was really easy because I'm very talkative and I like to talk to everyone about everything. And they were also very open and really nice. Yeah, everyone knows that Canadians are very nice, but they are really extremely nice. And they just always came to me and asked me questions about my home country and me and what I like. And they just like to make friends with everyone.
Yeah, it was easy to make friends there, right?
Yes, it really was. And there were a lot of other exchange students from Germany mainly. There are a lot of German students everywhere and Asians, and so it's really easy to talk to them because they are in the same situation. But the Canadians are also really nice, and they were used to exchange students because there were about 100 students in that town. And they really knew how to act with us, or I don't know.
Yeah, okay. How about you, Tekla?
I was extremely nervous, but it was really easy too, because despite the fact that I was nervous and at first the whole thing that was in my mind is how will I make friends? Because in my home country, it's just like a normal way, but like, what if they do it differently? I had all of those thoughts, and I didn't even realize that people started to talk to me, and I made friends. So I feel like it was really easy, especially like with the Canadians. They were really open and they just came and asked us questions.
Okay. And how about the host family? Tell me something about your family. Were they also open? Was it easy to get on well with them? Sheila?
Well,
Really nice.
my host family were my parents. So I had a mom and a dad, and I also had a host sister who was my age, so she was in 11th grade as well. It was I thought it would be really hard with them because they didn't know, so they didn't have an exchange student before. A lot of families in Canada there were, so they had, some families had about 20 students before or something like that, and I was the first for my host family. So I thought it would be harder, but it was really easy because my host sister and my host parents were really nice, and they like explained everything, how to do and how to be and how to help and how to be nice and Canadian and how to do everything. So it was really easy. But the only hard thing was that my host sister, so she was about to be an exchange student. The next year she went to the Netherlands, and she had to study a lot to have great grades and everything, and she had a lot to do, so she couldn't spend a lot of time with me, but it was fine. So
Okay. Did you have the feeling, Chila, that you were part of the family?
Well, in the beginning it was very weird because we had dinner together, and at school I had lunch with my host sister, and at home we had dinner together, and we went to see my host grandma. And it was at first it was really weird because they're strangers and you live with them and they act like your family, but they are really not, and they really don't know you. But they were extremely nice, as I said many times before. And the best thing I think was that I could have grandparents there, because so my parents are quite old here at home, and my grandparents are really old as well. So I didn't really know them, and I don't have any real great parents anymore because they passed away, and they were just so active, and they always baked cookies and everything. So they acted like I was their grandchildren as well.
Oh, that's nice. That sounds nice. How about you, Tekla? How was your host family?
Well, my host family was a single mother and her daughter, who was 12 at the time. And it was quite the opposite of my family, because luckily my family here, my parents are together and I have an older brother. So it was fun to experience that. But at first, when I arrived, so I arrived at midnight. So I was really nervous because, one, I will be tired of traveling. Second of all, just I will be tired in general. So I was scared of not really being able to talk to her and just like having a rough start. But she made it so easy. And in the first week, my host sister was at her dad's. So I didn't even meet her in my first week. I just knew about her. I heard stories. I just didn't know who this person was. And I was the 5th student that my host family had. So they kind of knew already what they were doing. However, I didn't, because like this was my first time. And my host sister, just when I first met her, she already acted so natural with me, and I still don't know how to feel about it because it was just so new. But they were really nice. They were supportive of everything I did, and they just helped me out with a lot of things.
Okay, good. And how about the school? I mean, you went to the school first. You didn't know anyone. How was your first day of school? And did you find friends in the end in the school? So how long did it take you to get adjusted, or it took your time, I guess, that you do find your friends there too? So tell me something about this process to go to school and find your friends there, because I think this fear everyone has before they go. So Chilla, how was it with you in the school? You went there, you didn't know anyone, and how did you find your classes?
Well, on my first day, I went to school with my host sister, and she introduced me to her friends, and we had lunch together. And I didn't have any classes with her because she took really hard and really scientific classes that I didn't. But yeah, we had lunch together, and I was kind of nervous at first because I didn't know anybody. But everyone just kind of came to me and asked me who I was, and it wasn't a huge school because there are these really big schools in Canada and the US where there are more than 1,000 kids, but it wasn't a really big school or a big town. It was about, I don't know, 30,000 people or something like that, and just everyone knew that I was new, and everyone just stared at me that, oh, this is a new history student, and I was specifically more interesting than the rest of them because they have met a lot of Germans and Chinese and Koreans before, but Hungarian is very special because there aren't a lot of us, so they didn't know what that was, and they just asked me a lot of questions about my home country, and some of them, I don't know, I had a feeling some of them looked it up where Hungary was and what Budapest is, and some of my friends later told me that they will want to go to Budapest someday because it seems like a beautiful city. And
so they knew about Hungary.
Yeah, and they always made a joke about being hungry all the time. But
yeah, everyone
and that was funny. Yeah, so everyone just kind of came to me, and even after that, so I thought my friends would be only my host sister's friends at first, but after that, in my classes and after school, everyone just kind of came to me to be my friends, and they were interested about me and everything. And also on my first day, there was this international student lunch. Every month we had a lunch together, and that's where I realized on my first day that there were 40 exchange students in that school, which is a lot. Half of them were from Asia, and the other half was European, mostly Germans. And they also just started asking questions and everything. Yeah, so it was very easy to make friends.
Tekla?
For me, well, before school started, I had an orientation with all the exchange students that were in Newfoundland for that year, or at least with that program. And I already made one friend from my school. So we went to school a couple of days later since school started. And we had an orientation within school as well. And so I had that one friend for sure. So I was with her until the point where they said that we need to go to classes, and we needed to go to different classes. And at first I was wandering around with her in the school because I was completely lost. But I saw a teacher at the hallway, and they helped me out, which was really helpful. And then I got to class, and I don't even remember how it started, but I just remember me walking out of class with two people around me already. And after that, I just spent the day with them, and then suddenly with the whole group of people. Again, it was just so much and so quick that I didn't even realize. And after that, it was really simple, and I just started to meet more and more people. But I definitely remember people looking at me at first, being like, who is she? Where is she from? Like, it's strange because they knew that I wasn't one of them. And I feel like at first I know that there were a couple of people who were like, what's her accent? And as Chilla said, a lot of people made the hungry joke. we just needed to get over that.
Okay, I see. And what subjects did you have in Canada? What did you study in the school, Chila?
Well, in my school, I could choose all my classes. It's common that they let the experienced students choose whatever class they want. The Canadians have these rules that they have to take math and history and I don't know, science and things like that, but I could choose whatever I wanted. So I went to this class, Stream to See. I had 4 classes a day, but one of them was
Stream to See, right?
Yes,
it was the name of this course that you took, and it was 4 hours a day, right?
It was just 3 hours actually, because
3,
every class
okay.
was 1.5 hours. So, and it was a double lesson, so it was 3 hours Stream to See, and that was my favorite class because it was a kind of like marine biology. After that, I almost went to study marine biology after school at the university. I just didn't make the step after high school, and we always had these measurings, and it was so I felt like a real scientist there because we didn't just sit at the classroom and listen to the teacher, but we really went out to the ocean because the town was on the edge of the island, so it was by the ocean, and we went there and looked at the sea stars and sea cucumbers and things like that, and dissect them and examine them and look at them on the microscope and things like that. So I really felt like I was a scientist in that class. And the teacher was also very nice. All of them were really nice, but the teacher was extremely nice.
What other subjects did you have, Chila, apart from this?
Well, I also had math, which was kind of boring for me because I'm really good at math, and their math was easier for me, even though it was in English. I learned a few new words, and I also had this social studies class, which I don't know how to describe because it was a kind of like history and environmental awareness and I don't know, the study of the society and economics and things like that and history to get all together. I don't know how to call it because we don't have anything like that in Hungary, but it was really interesting. And the teacher, he always talks about environmental awareness in some way, which I found really good for the students. Yes, and what else I wanted to say? Oh yeah, and we had this thing called flex, which meant that on every Wednesday we had shorter classes, and after that we could choose to go anywhere to do anything. Mostly the Canadians chose to take a test if they didn't take it for some reason or study somewhere with someone, but they also had different classes and auditions about things for the students that you could choose and the art. And so there was a class every week where you could do anywhere that you wanted.
Okay.
And I usually chose sometimes digital art, which was really good because at the computer lab, I've never seen a computer lab like that before. They had these artistic things that at first I didn't know what digital art was, but so it really was art. You would think that it's not art to draw with a computer, but it was really beautiful, and you did these animations and things like that, which was also very good.
Okay, interesting. Tekla, what did you study?
Well, in my school, it was semesterized, and there were 2 semesters. And so in each semester, we took 4 classes, and we had 5 classes each day. And in the first term, I had drama class. I had math, 10th grade math. I had art, and I had English language, or like just English for them. And in the second term, which was sadly cut short, so I went like 1 month because of like the coronavirus situation. Then I had Russian, since I studied Russian before, I wanted to continue doing that. I had 11th grade math, because as Sheila said, math was pretty easy compared to like home. And then I also had theater arts, and I had words religions, which was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I'm sad that my second semester was cut short, but I totally understand why it happened.
Okay. Someone sent us a question, because you can also send some questions in this chat if you want to ask something. So they are asking, how was your English when you arrived to Canada? And was an English a difficulty for you at the beginning? Because your English is very good now, but how was it when you arrived? Chilla, I remember your English was good already, and Tekla too, but tell me yourself if you had any difficulties with the language at the beginning, and what level you had when you arrived and when you left.
In high school, I had a really good English teacher. She was my favorite teacher at school, even though I don't really like languages and the Hungarian language as a language. I mean, as a class. But my English teacher was really good, so my grammar and my English was already really good. But in Canada, I learned more words, like the word. Oh, I'm sorry, I need a charger. Oh, okay, sorry, just my computer almost turned off.
It's okay.
So my English was already really good, and after that it got better and more intuitive and easier to speak fluently. Just mostly it was about the words that I learned a lot, especially in this string to see class, where I learned the names of every different type of algae and animals in the sea that I didn't even know of. And trees and plants and all of that, and the language, when you talk to people who really live the language and don't just study it in the school at school, it's really different. Actually, my English got a bit worse since I got back, and I didn't really speak in the past month to anyone, but it's actually really good. And after that, it was really easy to take a language exam as well. If you're interested in language exams, when I got back to school, Kinga asked the question, so I think she's Hungarian.
Yes.
So I wanted to take just a high level exam after school to go to university, and I didn't want to take because it's 50 points and the language exam is only 40 points and things like that. So I didn't plan on taking a language exam at first, but we had this rehearsal language exam at school, and my classmates just came to me that I should take a language exam with them because then the teacher would arrange an appointment for us. And I was like, okay, so next week I should take a language exam. Okay, so fine. And I just took it and I passed. So, and it was a Cambridge. It was a high level Cambridge exam, and I just passed it without any studying.
Yeah, that's great. Tekla, how was your English?
My English was, I'd say good, because I've studied it for 9 years beforehand, but I was still really shy and I just didn't feel like talking a lot. Meanwhile, when I got out there, I was like forced to talk. So I definitely became more confident in my language and definitely learned a lot more, especially like the local language that they spoke was just so different. Like they spoke fast, they had their own like sayings, and in a way their English was kind of broken in some places. So someone like me who studied grammar before just said there a couple of times, like, am I the one who's getting this wrong, or are they saying it like this on purpose? So other than that, I feel like I definitely learned a lot more. And I'd say the only bad thing with like studying in a certain area, especially like Newfoundland, which is small and not really well known, is that I picked up their language and like their sayings. And I am currently still studying in an English program here in Hungary. And I tend to use those sayings. And a lot of people who like learned English before, they just don't know those sayings. And they are looking at me like, what am I saying? And I'm just there like, what are you, like, it seems obvious, but that it's not. Other than that, I also took a language exam when I got home, the Cambridge high-level one, and I did not prepare a single word for it. I just went in and I passed, so it was really easy.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just see that you also asked if it was a difficulty for me. I'm in English, and it wasn't really, because here at home sometimes the class was boring because you have to sit there and just listen to the teacher or talk to someone else in English as exercise. But there you are kind of forced to speak English all the time, and that's really different because I really to speak a lot to a lot of people, and I was forced to do it in English because they couldn't understand Hungarian, so I learned it really well.
Okay, I see. And what was was it something, what was the biggest surprise or that you had about what was very strange and very different in the cultural difference that you think it's Canadian, it's very Canadian, or what did you like the best? If you don't have something like this, then tell you what you like the best in the culture. What was something that you could take it home and then you read probably and you like the best there? Sheila?
Well, it was also shocking at first, and it was also surprising, but still how shockingly nice they were compared to Hungarians, and just the basic mood that they have all the time about this whole positivity about the word, that it's just weird at first, but once you get used to it, it feels really good. And it also changed me in some ways, because now I'm also like that here at home, and sometimes it's really weird for other people how nice I am sometimes, and sometimes I just thought it was they are joking when they asked if they should do something for me or help me with something. I thought it was sarcastic, or they are just joking or something, but they really wanted to help and make something better for me, even though I didn't know it or didn't realize it at first. So at first it was hard to cope with it, but once I got used to it, it was very nice.
Okay. Tekla?
Well, I definitely agree with Sheila, but also that they were just super welcoming. That like every person I met, they were like, "Oh my gosh, hi, how are you?" Like as Sheila said, really. And they were just open. Like if I said something, they might have been shocked at first that like this is a real thing, or like this is happening here or whatever. But they understood it, and then they accepted it. And well, in the culture in itself, I was surprised that it was, well, Newfoundland used to be its own country, and it kind of still felt like it. Like it was a mix of Canada and like Ireland, and they were so proud of everything they do, and they support local businesses, and they are literally just a community. And well, it was still an island, and if I met someone, then they talked about me to someone else. So people who I didn't even know came up to me and like said hi to me with saying my name. And I didn't even understand where they knew me from, but they just said it like, oh, I'm friends with this person. And I'm like, oh, okay. But like everyone knew about you and they were open, which was really surprising.
It kind of felt like I was famous at the beginning.
Yeah.
And what was the weather like? Tell me about the weather, Chilla. And what was the weather like in Vancouver Island? You arrived in February, right?
Yes, everyone thinks that in Canada it snows all the time, everywhere, but it's really not like that. Vancouver Island is about at the same latitude as England, and it's also in the ocean, so it rained a lot. In winter it also snows, but I went to the second semester and it's just mostly rained. But the weather was nice, and on the mountain, there were a lot of mountains on the island where we could go to ski. But also on the other side of the island, we could go surfing. So
that's not bad. Surfing and skiing.
Yeah.
What other activities did you do? I remember you did some mountain biking too, right? With your host father.
Yes, because the town was, as I mentioned, it's on the edge of the island between the ocean and the woods. And in the woods, there are a lot of these mountain biking trails that a lot of people use this. And I went there with my host dad and my host sister all the time. I mean, all the time, as 4 times a week, which was also
pretty good. Yeah. Tekla?
Well, on the other side of Canada, it was quite the opposite. I arrived at September. The weather was alright. Like around October, it started to get like chilly, around like 10 degrees. It was still fine, I'd say. And then around the end of November, it started snowing, and then it didn't really stop till like April. Like while I was there were several big snowstorms, to the point where we couldn't leave the house because the snow was just like covering the door. So it was definitely an experience. I mean, I said I wanted to see snow, so I saw quite a lot. I didn't even have school for 2 weeks because it was not safe to get on the roads with cars. But other than that, it was really cold. Like when the snowstorms happened, it was like minus 35 degrees Celsius either. Yep. And it was really windy. Like the wind could pick up like any second and go to like 120 kilometers per hour wind, which was scary.
Yeah.
And Newfoundland is really the place where weather could change like every 5 minutes. And when I first heard this from my host mom, I thought that she was just being ridiculous. But it turns out to be true. Like, even though it was a snowstorm, the sun could still shine. And then, like, as I said, wind can pick up and just die down. It was weird, but like a good
So what
weird.
did you do, Tekla, in these weather conditions? I mean, minus 35. I mean, did you go out or how was it?
Well, I mean, I went out when I could leave the house. But it was lucky. It was luckily good because I was in the city area, but people around the bay and like the ocean, they had the power go out for several days, and of course people couldn't get to them because of the snow. So it was really cold for them, I know, but like they were prepared for it. They knew that this is something that could happen any moment. And that's what I was surprised by. My host mom just immediately went like, oh, okay, there's a snowstorm warning. It's fine. We're going to be fine. And I'm like, don't you need to go to the store to get like supplies or whatever? And she's like, oh, no, we're ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was kind of scary because I needed to walk around with like everything charged full time, because if power goes out, who knows when it comes back. And we had like candles ready all around the house.
Really extreme, really. Yeah, your experience is very extreme, Tekla, always when you tell us. So we have, basically you were in Newfoundland in the very east part, and then you hear the differences, and the other side is a different weather already. And also in the middle of the country, it's very extreme cold in the winter. But you can decide which of Canada you go. So we are basically in direct contact with the school boards, school districts around Canada. You can offer different destinations, so you can decide on your preferences if you like. I have some pictures from you girls, and I would like to have a quick look and ask you to have a little explanation. Let's start with Chila's pictures, okay? I will open this picture so other people can see them too. So, this is you, Chila. What are you doing here in this picture?
I'm sitting in a boat because my host family had a boat, and the event I was boating a lot, especially since my host grandma lived on a different island. So Vancouver Island is a really big island by the west coast, and there are several smaller islands between the continent and Vancouver Island. And my host grandma lived on Quadra Island, and we went to visit her a lot. So
by this boat?
Yes, with this boat.
Really?
Yeah, we went out boating like every week or more than once.
How long did it take you to get to the grandma by boat?
I have no idea. Maybe half an hour.
Couple of hours.
45 minutes.
Half
an hour or 45 minutes.
Oh, that's very short. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Okay. On this picture, you went skiing, right?
Yeah, I went skiing with my host dad to Mount Washington. It's a big mountain by the town where I live, and everyone went to ski there. And my host dad had some kind of business meeting, and they invited him to go skiing with them, and I was his plus one. I was actually really surprised there as well, because we just met his business partner that he barely even knew, and he told me that I would be his plus one, and I got a ski pass to the ski lift, and he also gave me gear, the coat and the skiing stuff, but I had to rent the rest of the ski gear. And when we met his business partner there, he just paid for it, but like 150 Canadian dollars or something like that. And I was really surprised, because I thought that I would have to pay that. He also thought it, and he just invited me to ski, so he thought that he would pay it.
Okay, good. And this picture is with your host sister.
Yeah, that's my host sister. It was taken in the northern corner of the island where my other host grandma lived. My host grandparents, actually, because she lived there with her husband. They were both alive, and we visited them, and we made these Easter cookies and painted them with sugar and colorful stuff. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, those are the carrots. We made carrots because my host grandma do a lot. She sew several quilts that we had in our house, and we made these extra carrots for Easter.
Good.
With my host sister. This was taken on Quadra Island, where we went to see the goats, and that's me and my host sister with the purple newborn goats.
Baby goats.
Yes, baby goats.
Very nice. Oh, the boat again.
Yeah, this is the same picture. I mean, it's from the same trip as the first one. The yellow coat is my host dad, and the other three are other exchange students, German, Emma, Luna, and I think Sophia. Because one day we went out boating to save the island with a group of people. Actually, it was arranged by my art teacher, and he wanted to invite me, I think, and he invited my host dad to take us. Just my host sister had to work that day, and my host mom had something else to do. So my host dad just took all of us, which was really surprising, but also a nice boating trip to Sailing Island.
Okay.
And that's Sailing Island.
Beautiful.
That's the last picture with me and my host sister just before I left Canada at the airport. And I think that's the last. No. Oh. That was taken in Banfield in a science center. I went there to a field trip with my stream to see teacher, and that's my class. I can see myself right now. Oh yeah, that's where I'm in the red coat. It was a really big scientific center with a lot of labs, and yeah, it would take a day.
How long were you there?
We were there for 3 days, but we did so many things that I can't even count. Like we went out to measure the biodiversity.
I think we have some pictures. Is it taken that place? These pictures? The other?
Yeah, that's Merle with I don't know what that in her hand.
Okay, you found something in the ocean.
Yeah, they took out a bunch of things from the bottom of the ocean with that net that you can barely see on the picture, but there was this net that they just hold on the bottom. That was on a bike trip, and that's me and my host sister. I in the red coat and the white pullover. My social studies teacher organized all of these outdoor trips, like bike trip and canoeing trip and things like that. And this is one of those.
Oh, that's nice. How long did it take? Was it a several days trip or a 1 day trip?
The bike trip, I think, was 4 days, and the canoeing trip was 5 days. And well, sometimes we miss school for it, which I really like, because he just said, okay, now we are going on a canoeing trip, so you can miss this whole week of school. And sometimes the Canadians didn't come because they didn't want to miss that many classes, because we had only 4 classes a day. So if they missed a week, then they would miss a lot.
Sure. This is
the canoeing trip. And that's Cameron. She was my pedal partner, and she's Canadian, not German.
Okay.
I think that was on the canoeing trip as well. All the exchange students went to the canoeing trip, and all of these trips.
And the teacher, you have quite a lot of teachers here, no? With you?
Yeah. The man in the blue shirt is Steve. He organized the trip, and he was my social studies teacher. On the right, there is my art teacher, and next to him, that's in the gray shirt, that's Klinka. He was the string to C teacher, and he also came to the canoeing trip with us. But that's me and my German and Canadian friends. Clara, Katie, Abby, Emma, and Sam, I think, on the right. We had this dress up at the end of the canoeing trip, because on these camping places you always look very tired and very bad, and we had this dress up at the end to look nice just once.
Okay, I see. That's fun.
But a funny thing is that this picture was taken at the same place where we went skiing in the winter, and before I left. we went to hike there with my host family, and that's me and my host sister on the mountain. Are there any more pictures? Most lefagyott?
She froze, yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. She froze.
Oh, Eva froze. That's sad.
I'm surprised that you were able to wear shorts.
Yeah, it was really warm there.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the sun is shining. So it was a nice hiking weather.
Eva.
I'm going to text Eva.
Okay. When I left, the last day I was there, okay, it was July 7th. And it was literally like still 15 degrees. That's their summer, 15 degrees. And we went down to the ocean because I wanted to like say goodbye to the ocean, if that makes sense.
Did you swim in the ocean?
Well, here comes the thing. It was middle of summer and it was still like max 2 degrees, not giving it more.
Well, that's cold. It was much warmer on Vancouver Island, but as you can see in the background, on the top of the mountains, there's still snow. So even when we went to hike there, so you can see some snow here and there on the mountain. But the sun was shining and we were hiking, so it wasn't really cold. Oh, Eva is coming back. She told us to continue the pictures. I think I can stop. Oh yeah, I can. This is me and my host sister on the biking trip. And now I can only go back. Maybe, how can I open your pictures?
Let me just see.
Because now I can go back with my pictures. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Start presentation. Yeah.
Okay. So
Tekla, that's your host sister.
My host sister, yes. She and my host mom absolutely loved board games. So we would play board games literally every single night. So this is just a picture of us playing Monopoly, which is the cheater edition, one of my host sister's favorite game because she could cheat. This was, I believe, the first weekend after my first day of school. With my friends, we went to see the movies. And it was really funny because the girl on the most right, she was an exchange student too. And her English wasn't as good as mine. And so we watched the movie and then we came out and she was like, yeah, I don't understand a single word of that movie. And then this is a picture of me and my host sister walking my dog there in the snow. And it was really funny because that dog was just such a tiny dog.
Hello.
Hi, Eva.
I'm sorry, I had a
Hello,
connection problem. I'm back. But you are very good. You went on with the pictures. Okay. So listening, just go on, Tekla.
I just said that this is me and my host sister walking our dog, and the dog would literally start crying like after 2 minutes because the snow was so cold.
Okay.
So when I was in Canada, I joined the improv team in my school, and we had like big tournaments on the island. And there was a boot camp for improv where I met a lot of lovely people. And this is from there with my main group within the camp. And it was just a lot of fun.
What was this? What club? What did you say? Sorry.
Improvisation.
Improvisation. It's like theater, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's how it went is usually they are 4-minute scenes. My team had 8 members.
Okay.
And they would give you a word or a theme, that we needed to act out and just create something funny.
Good. That's fun. Did you like it?
Oh, it was one of my favorite things I've ever done.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a good thing to do.
And this is my improv team on our last tournament together. And we had to wait for the results. So we went into a flower market just to take pictures. But it was great because we all have like matching t-shirts and we have an outfit that we would wear on tournaments, and it was just great.
Beautiful.
This was taken on one of my favorite spots in Newfoundland called Signal Hill. And on one side of the hill, we could see the ocean, as we can see. And on the other side, we can see the bay going into the like capital city of the island. And it was just such a beautiful place. Like I literally spent night just staring at the ocean or the city there.
Oh, that's nice.
And this is one of my favorite like beaches, but like again, not a lot of people swim there. And I was just telling Chilla that on my last day there, I went to like say goodbye to the ocean, and I touched it, and it was like 1 or 2 degrees max.
Okay.
Like I saw icebergs there.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm not joking.
Okay.
While I was in Canada, I've done a lot of volunteering, and this was one of them, a food drive, where my team was other exchange students, but there were like 20 teams, and my team alone has collected like a trunk and a half full of foods for the Salvation Army on the island, and it was just great. This was Halloween. In Hungary, we don't celebrate Halloween, so I never carved a pumpkin before. And this was the experience that I had just carving it. It was a lot of fun. And once again, this is Halloween. My host sister is on the left. We dressed up as like dinosaurs, and her friend came with us, and it was so weird because we started like going around at 5, and well, her and her friend is like 12, so they are still really excited. And we were literally out till midnight, so we were going 7 hours.
Wow.
But it was fun.
Okay.
This is me and my host mom. We were going to a Christmas lunch with the program I was there with, where all the other exchange students and their families were there. And yeah. This is once again my improv team. As you can see, matching outfits. And on the top is our coaches, which like people who actually do improv and study improvisation on university. And it was great. On Christmas, me and my host sister once again decided to dress up as dinosaurs. And this is just us on Christmas.
Okay.
This was on Mother's Day, and I said my host mom was a single mother, so we decided to do something special for her. And my host sister, she can't really cook, but for the first time in her life, she made eggs, and she nailed it. And I made pancakes for her.
Oh, good. Was she happy, your host mother?
Oh, she was really happy. And this was with my friends in school at a winter carnival, which was basically just a day of fun where we could eat like literally anything in this school because they made like tons of food. And then there were just like games in the gym, but like carnival games. And it was just so much fun. So on my first week of school, as I said, I walked out of my first class with a bunch of people. And on my first day when I got home after school, I got a message from someone saying, "Hey, I'm Cassie, and I know we just met, but my birthday party will be this weekend. You want to come over?" And I said, "Sure." So I went over, and this picture was taken there. And you can see I'm in the blue coat. I'm literally the only one wearing a coat. And it was like 10 degrees or even lower. And they were just casually there.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
This is once again during one of our competitions with improvisation and my team. This was one of my exchange students' friends had a birthday party, which soon after she needed to go home because of the coronavirus situation. And this was the last party where I feel like I really said goodbye to a lot of my friends as well.
But you stayed, right, until July?
I stayed till the very end, yes. This was taken when one of my friends who only came for one semester needed to go home, and we were waiting for her to say goodbye to us and go to her plane. But she specifically said that she doesn't want a goodbye where everyone cries, and let's just have fun at the airport while we can. And there was this like broken boat that we just climbed. This was with my improv team once again when the schools closed the first time for like 1 week because there was one case on the island. And but our competition was coming up, so we went over to my coach's house and practiced there.
Okay. I think that was the last one. Thank you. So I would like to ask you just 2 more questions, and we can say goodbye. I'm very curious about how you feel, because usually it's during this exchange year or even a semester, students have so many experiences that they change after when they come home. So do you feel any changes? Did you feel that you changed? And if yes, which way did you change during this period?
Most students go back to their schools. So it's really different how students feel when they come back. But my situation was very special because I went back to my own class. Mostly exchange students go to another school when they come back, or just go to a class lower than before. But I took my exams when I came back from every single subject. Like I failed everything, so I could go back to my own class, and it was really weird because I changed a lot and everything here just remained the same. So my own friends didn't feel like my own friends, and just my class was really weird, and my teachers were really weird, and the school was really weird, and I constantly felt very, very bored because it felt like nothing happened ever. And I have to study again because, in Canada, when you're an exchange student, you are not there to study and do your homework. I don't mean it like that. Just do your homework because it's important. It's important to study. Just I was there for the experience, as I thought, and here I had to study a lot because I was in grade 12 when I came back, so I had to study for graduation, and I had to make up for everything that I missed in 11th grade.
So
That
Tekla,
was a little bit hard.
yeah, sure. So Tekla, what do you think? How do you feel? Did you change during this experience?
I definitely changed. I feel like I became more independent and just confident in general. And one big thing that like changed that my family noticed on me is that when I got home, I unpacked my stuff and I was like, "Look what I got for you!" And after unpacking, it was so normal to me to just pack everything back and make sure everything is clean around me. And my family just looked at me like, "Why is she cleaning after herself? She didn't do this before." And well, as Sheila said, like going back to school, like I went to a different program, so I'm not really in the Hungarian system anymore. But I have classmates from my old class, and it's definitely strange because they kind of remembered me as this like shy person who's like okay in studying, and I just came back and I'm just like this really powerful person of like I have my individuality and I'm putting it out there. So it's strange, but a good strange.
Yeah. And what would you recommend to those who are considering now going abroad for an exchange year? Would you encourage them to do so? Or what would you say to them? What's your message?
I would encourage them to go to a whole year because I just went for a semester, and just at the beginning it started to feel like I'm used to it, and I had my friends became closer, and I got to know them and my teachers and the school and the place, and it just ended. So I always wish I went for a whole year there.
Tekla?
I would say definitely go for it, because even if for some reason, which I can't really imagine, it ends up being bad, you're still going to learn from it. But again, I have never heard a story of like an exchange year being bad. So
So, and would you recommend them to go to Canada?
Definitely.
Yeah? So Canada is a good destination. We all agree, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, it's
great.
safe and nice and English.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for coming and taking your time to be present here today on this webinar. And thank you for the attendance to follow our webinar. And if you feel like applying, or if you have any questions regarding the Canadian programs, please feel free to contact your local YOURWAY office that we will share with you later on. Okay, so have a nice weekend, ladies, and thank you for coming. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.